Welcome to Central London, and welcome to the final episode of the show that aims to transform the fortunes of two family businesses by giving them a digital makeover. To that end, we invited some amazing marketing brains to take two small firms from the analog to the digital age over the course of just a few weeks. And you might remember the last episode ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. In fact, much more of a cliffhanger than my current location, because the two teams of experts presented their ideas to our two family firms. What did they make of these ideas? Well, to find out, I caught up with them recently. From Kirkintilloch, Scotland, we had Jim of the Corny Soapery, and all the way from Chinatown, New York, we had Alice from Grand Tea and Imports. Also on the call was Natasha, who headed up the Corny team, as well as Tracy, who looked after Grand Tea and Imports. Guys, it's so good to have you here.
Hi, Gordon. Nice seeing you.
Hi, Gordon. Great to be part.
Hey, Gordon. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Gordon.
So, Natasha, what were the issues you first encountered when you spoke to Jim about Corny?
Clear and consistent messages were a big one. On the one hand, there was a lot of benefits to Jim's business. So handmade, organic, forage, local, good for problem skin, 100 years old. But then also a clear and consistent tone of voice and look and feel. The website was also a huge problem, but he started years ago. And I'm sure has really invested in that over time, but that has ended up in an archaic custom website. But that's left him in a bit of a pickle when it comes to a potentially major sales channel.
Now, moving to the other side of the Atlantic, can I just ask you, Tracy, what were the issues you really first encountered when you first spoke to Alice about Grand Tea and Imports?
In meeting with Alice, it was really about digital transformation. There was a very well-established business in New York and great local clientele, but her and her sister really want to take that to the next level and have people experience it wherever they are. So it was part moving into that digital transformation, but also in that reaching a broader audience, the potential to go beyond the neighborhood and really even have a global presence as they think about selling their products. We wanted to help with the positioning to get them ready for that.
Natasha, now Jim has received the proposals from your expert team. What key points would you really draw his attention to?
I would say take everything a step at a time. Focus on the main takeaways rather than getting bamboozled by the whole. So I would start with get the labels printed, then get the products photographed well, and that's not necessarily expensive. And then get into the Facebook shops. We can't do that for you. It needs to be real, which is a good thing, I think. And then you can get insights and data on those sales. And I think that will then help you to enable easier manufacturing and then fulfillment in the future. So I think it will help you on the whole.
And Jim, what would you say in response to Natasha's comments?
I don't always know the wording like that. The voice of tone, I think it might be, but it's just rubbish at it. And I think it will make a lot of things easier if I've got that cross platform the way we sell. There's a Corny holistic feel about it, which is it's not got that just now. Other things I did like the loyalty thing. Very, very interested in that. And also I'm pulled down by the friction that I've got just now. And if I can get something like Facebook shops that will just do the things without having to jump and botch into something to make it work. That's exciting. That was the thing I said at the start. I want it friction free, and it's just giving me the route map out to friction free.
Now, maybe going to Tracy next. Now your team have presented your plan. What elements would you sort of highlight to Alice and Grand Tea and Imports?
I would definitely start with getting that right photography. I feel like that's everything when it comes to e-commerce and really making these beautiful shots of what you're selling and taking the incredible merchandising and the copy you already have and tying that with a picture is going to go a long way. And once you get that set up, we're here to support you when it comes to helping with the SEO. I believe that over time, putting these pieces in place could really drive the transformation that you're looking for.
I think you're absolutely spot on about the better photography. I think my family would be most excited about the SEO. It's going to be the most rewarding just so that the people who are searching for my family's products can even come by our website. And then, with the blog content, Karen and we've been writing on our Instagram. So to be able to put that into some sort of content that is accessible in more platforms than just Instagram, I think that would be amazing.
More generally, Alice, obviously this is a bit of a two-way street in terms of a learning experience. What sort of insights have you got from the process?
I've learned an incredible amount. Karen and I can't keep writing things, whatever we want for our copy. We have to, if we want to grow this small business and grow our online business, we have to be we have to be intentional about what kind of words we're using. And also I learned that Facebook is something that we're really not taking advantage of. We have a Facebook page that we created when I was in high school and basically have not touched since then. And so it's a really missed opportunity.
And Jim, what would you say are the main takeaways as far as you're concerned?
I think I need to release some of the things that I've been doing to let the professionals do that. And that's exciting, but they're also slightly scary, but it is, it's exciting. Even this is quite good, like SEOs and stuff like that. There's loads of other stuff we can develop on and absorb what we can do. So the future is interesting.
Okay, it's been a hell of a few weeks, a fascinating few weeks. Natasha, starting with you, how have you found the whole experience?
I've met some seriously talented people. I think I wasn't expecting it to be so seamless and collaborative. A lot of people that were really at the top of their game. It was also such a highlight to meet and get to know Jim. He's such a good person. His heart is so in what he does. And his passion and his experience is really what you need in the small business. And without that, I just think there's nothing. He's a craftsperson and big brands can learn from that. When you really, really know your customers like Jim does, then they stick with you. And Jim really cares about his customers. So that's been a real highlight for me.
Jim, the same question to you. How have you found this experience?
I've enjoyed the experience, probably more than I should have. It's been enlightening, and the process has opened my eyes. QR codes, quick response. I was teaching my pal who's a professor of physics what QR meant. So that's a first. He always tells me. So that was great.
And Tracy, what about you? What have the last few months been like?
I agree. It was highly collaborative and fun to meet new people, especially the more we got to know Alice and her family and their story. All we wanted to do was help in any way that we could to really take their business forward because we believe in them. And it's been amazing to work with you, Alice, and get to tour the shop and do it all remotely too.
And finally Alice, in terms of this experience, what has it been like for you?
The experience has been amazing so far. I mean, as a small mom and pop family run business, we're always in the weed of just thinking about everyday operations, and just to be able to meet people from the top of their game to be able to take it under the wing of so many professionals. We really are so incredibly lucky to be a part of this.
And finally, Natasha, because this is about so much more than these two companies, what advice would you give to small business generally?
I'd say grow your peaks and cut off your troughs. And by that, I mean, just use your strengths. You didn't set up a business in the first place because you're good at everything, but because you're an expert in one thing. Going to where all the traditional customers are for Jim is great, but also understand that they have frustrations too, and that can be a real barrier to purchase. So using platforms and services like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger for customer service and for troubleshooting can be really useful. People want to know stuff, but they've changed their habits. They want immediacy. They don't want to wait for a reply to an email, and you don't have time to reply to emails when you're making soap. And they don't want to sit there waiting on the phone either. So things like that are mutually beneficial.
And Tracy, from a US perspective, what advice would you give to small businesses?
Yeah, first I would say to dream big. I think anything is possible, and you can get very caught up in the day-to-day, right? Everyone is overwhelmed and there's so many things to do, but take the time to set the vision and imagine what could be, because I think that's really powerful. And then make it happen, right? Start somewhere. You don't have to do it all at once, but figure out where your strengths are and where you should be leaning in and spending that time. And then do it in a way that's authentic to you, right? I think that's the most important. A lot of times you can get caught up, whether it's a small business or a big business, and what everybody else is doing and trying to figure out, how you're more like them, but you're special because you're you. So find those unique pieces of your brand and lean into those as much as you possibly can.
Well, that is it, the end of the series, but not the end of the journey for Corny and Grantee and Imports. They have received real insights and the bones of a fantastic marketing strategy. And they're on the cusp of launching a range of initiatives, including a shop on Facebook Shops. A huge thanks must go to both our teams, and Tracy and Natasha in particular, for doing such an amazing job. To use Tracy's phrase, I think we've helped our two small companies dream big. And the process has shown small business generally how they can be big. With that in mind, goodbye and thanks for watching.